Chosen one. God saw it all. Every lie, every slander, every attempt to destroy your name, and now divine justice is moving. Those who tried to bury you are about to pay for what they spread. While you endured betrayal and false accusations, you didn't crumble, you waited. Not because you were weak, but because you knew truth doesn't need defense, it needs time, and that time has arrived. What was meant to break you became the weapon that built you. Heaven protected what others tried to destroy. The tables haven't just turned, they've flipped completely. Lies are crumbling, your truth is emerging, and the power they feared in you is about to be revealed in full view. Whispers and slander were like wind blowing against a mountain. No matter how fierce the storm, you remained unshaken, towering above it all. But let's be clear about what actually happened. The lies manufactured spread quickly, infecting those around you like wildfire, consuming a dry forest. Every spark ignited was meant to choke out your brilliance, to dim the light others couldn't stand to see shining. A picture was painted of you that wasn't real. The knowledge that truth holds no sway in the minds of those eager for scandal was weaponized. Others reveled in your supposed downfall, rubbing their hands together, hoping to watch you crumble under the weight of fabrications. Parties were thrown in mines, celebrating victories assumed to be guaranteed. You were never meant to be brought down. You've walked through this storm not as a victim, but as a warrior. The mud slung at you couldn't cling to your skin. It only served to reveal your resilience. While others were busy creating fictional narratives, you were building something real, something that could never be touched, something that would ultimately expose fraud for what it is. Now as the winds of change gather force, truth must be faced. Every lie told will unravel, exposed in the harsh light of reality. There will be no choice but to confront the monster created, not in you, in those who spoke falsely. Words will boomerang back with devastating precision, and the very venom spewed will be choked on. The time of reckoning isn't near, it's here. Falsehoods are crumbling like dust in the wind, and you stand tall, untouched by attempts at destruction. The power that was always within you is rising now, unstoppable, undeniable, impossible to ignore. You've shattered every expectation held against you, rising higher than anyone dared to imagine. The lies spread, the attempts to pull you down. None of it could stop the inevitable ascent that was always yours. You moved past small-mindedness. You broke through barriers assumed would confine you forever. Others expected you to falter, to remain trapped in the shadows of deceit, to stay down where you were wanted. But instead you soared above it all. The desire was for you to remain in the mire of mediocrity, tethered by envy and disbelief. But you, unbound and untouchable, rose above everything, ascending to spaces never dreamed you would reach. Now you find yourself in rooms filled with power and influence. Your name carries weight. Your presence commands attention. While others still fumble with the chains of limitation, you walk freely among those who have recognized your brilliance. Observation comes from below, stunned and speechless. Minds unable to reconcile how you could thrive despite attempts at sabotage. As you stand on ground others will never touch, the truth becomes undeniable. You are the chosen one. Attempts to diminish you only highlighted your greatness. Others are left stranded, unable to evolve, clinging to old stories created about you. Meanwhile, you continue to defy every narrative attempted. Your elevation is a force that can't be grasped, a height that will never be reached. Lives remain confined in cages built with lies, while you've ascended to the stars, burning brighter than anyone dared to dream. You've become the living contradiction to every lie told. The moment others said you'd fail, that you'd never rise above the weight of slander, was the moment a downfall was sealed for those who spoke it. Now scrambling for answers begins, haunted by questions that can no longer be ignored. How could you, the one cast aside, thrive in ways never thought possible? How is it that you have not only survived but flourished beyond wildest fears? Words were meant to bury you, to lock you into a life of misery and struggle. Yet here you are, shining, thriving, occupying spaces assumed were beyond your grasp. Others look at you now with disbelief, because every step you take, every new level you reach, is a direct defiance of expectations. The stories spun about you are unraveling. People who believed those lies are beginning to see through the cracks. Seeing you standing where you were never supposed to stand shakes observers to their core. Now questions arise internally. How could we have been so wrong? Understanding escapes as to why the path predicted for you never materialized, why you haven't collapsed under the weight of false narratives. The world of small thinking is one of limitations, and in that world, your success is an anomaly that cannot be explained. The ones who were quick to turn backs to spread lies further are now wondering how everything got so wrong. Whispers of your supposed downfall are now echoes in an empty room, while your name rises louder with each new accomplishment. Every eye that once looked down is now filled with uncertainty, forced to confront truth that cannot be denied. You were never who others said you were. You are far more powerful, far more untouchable. The lies and slander spoken against you have not gone unnoticed. The weight of deceit, the mockery hurled at you was never lost in the wind. It has been seen, counted, held against those responsible. Every word spit in your direction, every cruel intention woven into actions, was a seed of destruction planted for another's downfall. You have always been watched over, shielded by divine favor that cannot be comprehended by others. Now the time has come for balance to shift, for the scales of justice to tip in your favor. Divine justice is not slow, and it never forgets. Those who thought humiliation would come without consequence, who believed lies would go unchallenged, are now standing at the edge of reckoning, living in false peace, thinking there would never be answers for wrongs, that somehow actions would dissolve into nothingness. But that assumption was wrong. The time for you to be vindicated is here. The reckoning will be swift, unstoppable. The lies spoken will rise against those who spoke them. The peace assumed stolen from you will be shattered in other lives. You will stand tall as divine justice rains down, and the truth will finally set you free. If this message aligned with your purpose, hype this video so fellow chosen ones can find their confirmation. Misunderstanding came from the start. Shallow perceptions couldn't fathom the depth of your strength, so lies were clung to, hoping it would diminish the force of who you truly are. Assumptions were made that you would remain small, trapped in the shadows of deceit, content to live under the weight of false narratives. But you were never made for shadows. You are destined to step into the light, to rise beyond the reach of limited expectations. While time was wasted spreading slander, feeding off insecurity, you were cultivating something that could never be grasped. You were growing, silently building yourself in ways others couldn't see. Like a seed buried deep where darkness was assumed would keep you hidden, you were drawing strength, pushing upward toward the surface. Belief existed that words could bind you, but what wasn't realized is that you were never there to be held back. You have outgrown pettiness, transcending the small-mindedness built around you. Misperceptions were reflections of weakness in others. The assumption was fragility, easy defeat by words, but in reality, slander was nothing more than background noise, barely a whisper against the roar of your growth. Here's what was never understood about the campaign against you. Every lie told required energy to maintain. Every false story needed to be remembered, rehearsed, kept consistent. An entire infrastructure of deception was built that demanded constant attention. While you were free to simply live your truth, others became slaves to fabrications. Think about the mental gymnastics performed, keeping track of which lie was told to which person, making sure stories aligned when people compared notes, covering up contradictions, creating new lies to support old ones. It's exhausting work, maintaining a false reality, and that exhaustion is catching up now. You, on the other hand, never had to remember anything. Truth doesn't require a good memory. You simply showed up as yourself, consistently, regardless of who was watching or what was being said about you. That consistency is what's breaking narratives apart. People are noticing that your character never shifts, never wavers, never contradicts itself. The universe has a way of exposing manufactured realities. Lies are like houses built on sand, looking solid from a distance, but the moment any pressure is applied, the foundation gives way. Your mere existence, your continued success, your unwavering peace, these are the waves eroding sandy foundations. You don't even have to try. Your authentic presence is enough to crumble constructed fiction. God has revealed the truth of who you are through the life you've built. You don't need to chase approval or prove your worth to anyone anymore. The world is watching you live out your purpose, and that is proof enough. You have become a living testament to what happens when the chosen rise above the noise. Now you are a symbol of resilience for those who witness your strength. Those who doubted you are left speechless. The force you've become can no longer be questioned. You are now a role model, not just for those who seek to follow in your footsteps, but even for those who once sought to tear you down. What's fascinating is how study begins of you now. The same people who spread lies about you are now watching your every move, trying to understand the source of your power, looking for the secret, the trick, the shortcut assumed must have been taken. Acceptance cannot come that it's simply authenticity meeting divine timing. The irony is almost poetic. Hard work went into trying to diminish you, and in doing so, the exact conditions necessary for your transformation were created. Every lie was a weight added to your training. Every false accusation was resistance building your strength. Every betrayal was a lesson in discernment. Others were unknowingly your trainers, preparing you for a level of operation never to be accessed by those who opposed you. The truth has begun to unravel. The ones who once believed lies are now faced with stark contrast between slanderous words and the undeniable reality of your success. The narrative once fed no longer holds weight. Every glance in your direction reveals the stark truth. Wrong assumptions were made. People who aligned themselves with falsehoods are now forced to reconcile lies clung to with the brilliance you exude. You are thriving, and with every step you take, illusions crumble. The slanderer, the one who thought words could define you, now stands exposed. While others were busy weaving falsehoods, you were quietly building, growing, outshining everything attempted to be projected onto you. Now consequences of actions must be faced. Attempts were made to plant seeds of doubt in others, but those seeds have turned to thorns in other paths. You have risen above petty games. Now consequences of actions unfold before observing eyes. The world sees you standing tall, untouchable by lies meant to break you. Those who once listened to the slanderer now look with disdain, realizing that the only thing accomplished was revealing foolishness. When lies were spoken about you, speaking wasn't just into the atmosphere. Speaking was against someone marked by divine purpose, standing in opposition to heaven's assignment on your life. That's not a battle any human can win. Every word spoken against you was recorded, not just by the universe, but by divine justice itself. There's a cosmic ledger that tracks every deed, every word, every intention. Assumptions existed of just gossiping, just venting, just expressing opinion. Realization didn't come of accumulating a debt that would eventually come due. The payment isn't coming from you, you're not the collector. Divine justice is. And divine justice doesn't negotiate payment plans. Extensions aren't offered. Excuses aren't accepted. When the time comes for accounts to be settled, the full balance is required immediately. That time has arrived. You've transcended the noise, the hate, the small-minded attacks thrown your way. You are no longer tangled in pettiness, attempting to drag you down, because you have risen to a height that cannot be reached. God is using you as a shining example of what it means to thrive in the face of adversity. You didn't just survive, you soared, and now your life stands as a beacon, illuminating the path for others who face similar trials. The negativity thrown at you never had the power to hold you back. Instead, it was fuel, feeding the fire of your purpose and lighting the way to your success. God has already handled it for you. Divine justice has been at work, clearing your path so that you can walk fully into your destiny without being hindered by small-minded games. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. That time is over. Every victory you achieve, every step forward you take, speaks louder than any argument you could make. You have become a testament to what true resilience looks like. A living demonstration that no amount of hatred, slander, or negativity can stop someone who is walking in purpose. Those who once doubted you now see undeniable truth. You were never meant to be brought down by words. As the chosen one, your light shines too brightly to be ignored. You are not just successful, you are at peace, a force untouched by chaos. There's something you need to recognize about this season you're in. The silence around you isn't empty. It's sacred. It's the kind of silence that happens right before a major breakthrough, right before divine intervention manifests in physical form, right before the seen realm catches up with what's already been established in the unseen. Your enemies feel this shift too. That's why desperation exists in the energy now. Sensing happens that the window of opportunity to cause harm is closing, feeling the cosmic clock running out on schemes, knowing, even if admission won't come, that fighting is happening against a losing battle. You can't win against someone heaven is backing. What you're experiencing right now is the calm after the storm and before your sunshine. You've weathered the worst that could be thrown at you. Attacks have exhausted themselves. Lies have run their course. Slander has reached its expiration date. Now comes the part where everything shifts in your favor so dramatically that even skeptics will have to acknowledge divine intervention. You need to be ready for the whiplash of this transition. One moment you're the villain in someone's story. The next moment you're the hero in your own. One season you're defending your character. The next season your character is defending itself through undeniable results. One chapter you're praying for vindication. The next chapter you're walking in it. Your consistency through inconsistency around you is about to pay off in ways you can't imagine. While others were being exposed as frauds through contradictions, you were being established as authentic through constancy. While stories kept changing, your truth remained solid. That foundation you built while under attack is about to hold weight, never dreamed you'd carry. The lies and slander that once surrounded you have shattered, powerless against the force of your success. Every step you've taken has been a defiant rise against envy and bitterness. And now others are left to choke on the remnants of falsehoods. You no longer need to defend yourself, nor do you owe anyone an explanation for your greatness. God has already laid the path before you, preparing a table of abundance in full view of those who doubted you. You have moved beyond the need for approval or validation from others. Gossip is nothing more than empty noise, unable to touch the truth of who you are. You, the chosen one, are walking in your purpose, radiating a light that could never be extinguished. As others sit in the shadows of insecurity, you continue to rise, shining brighter with every victory. Let observation happen. Let talking happen. Because words are meaningless in the face of your undeniable reality. Attempts to bring you down have only elevated you higher. Lies have only made your truth more obvious. Attacks have only made you stronger. Now it's time for you to fully embrace your position. To step into every room like you own it. Because energetically you do. To speak with the authority of someone who knows worth isn't up for debate. To move with the confidence of someone who's been tested and proven unbreakable. The season of defense is over. The era of explanation has ended. You're entering the phase where your presence is your power, where your success is your statement, where your peace is your proof. Arguments can't be made with results. Debate can't happen with reality. Fighting can't occur with what can be seen with observing eyes. Let's talk about the supernatural protection that's been on your life this entire time. You should have broken. By all natural accounts, what you were put through should have destroyed you. The cumulative weight of attacks should have crushed your spirit. The persistent nature of lies should have worn down your resolve. But it didn't. You're still here, still standing, still thriving. That's not luck, that's divine intervention. There were moments when attacks came so close to hitting the mark. Times when you felt yourself starting to believe lies. Instances where you almost gave others the satisfaction of seeing you quit. But something always pulled you back from that edge. Something always reminded you of who you really are. Something always reignited the fire others tried to extinguish. That something was divine protection operating in real time. You were shielded in ways you'll probably never fully understand. Attacks launched at you lost power before reaching you. Schemes planned against you fell apart before execution. Traps set for you caught the ones who set them instead. This wasn't coincidence. This was heaven's intervention on behalf of someone carrying an assignment bigger than attackers could comprehend. Now you need to understand what comes with this level of protection. It comes with responsibility. You've been preserved for a purpose, kept for a reason, protected for a mission. Protected for a mission. Your survival wasn't random. Your resilience wasn't accidental. Your breakthrough isn't just about you. It's about everyone who will be liberated through your testimony. The lies told about you are going to become case studies in divine justice. Your story is going to be referenced whenever someone needs proof that God defends those who can't defend themselves. Your elevation is going to be evidence whenever someone doubts that truth eventually prevails. You're not just living your life anymore. You're writing a chapter in the book of divine vindication that others will read for generations. This is why the attack was so severe. This is why everything was thrown at you. Because the testimony coming out of your test was going to be too powerful. The story emerging from your struggle was going to liberate too many people. The message birthed from your pain was going to destroy too many enemy tactics. Attempts were made to silence you permanently, but you can't kill purpose. You can't murder destiny. You can't assassinate a calling. What others tried to bury is now being amplified. Your voice is reaching further than it ever would have without this trial. Your impact is hitting deeper because it comes from tested truth rather than theoretical concepts. There's a reason your story resonates so deeply with certain people. When you share what you've been through, you'll notice some individuals leaning in with an intensity that goes beyond casual interest. Eyes light up, energy shifts, nodding starts before you even finish sentences. That's recognition. That's resonance. That's someone seeing their own battle reflected in yours and realizing being alone is a lie. You need to pay attention to those people. Path crossings aren't random. Divine assignment has positioned them to your sphere of influence for this exact season. Your testimony is the key that unlocks breakthrough for others. Your story is the permission slip needed to believe elevation is possible. Your survival is the proof required to keep fighting. You're not just sharing information when you tell your story. You're transferring impartation. You're speaking life into dead situations. You're breathing hope into suffocating circumstances. You're demonstrating that the gap between persecution and elevation isn't as wide as it seems, that the distance between slander and vindication is just one divine move. The people who need to hear from you are already positioned in your path. Seeking out isn't necessary. Forcing conversations isn't required. Creating platforms isn't your job. Divine orchestration is already arranging the connections. Your job is simply to be ready to share when the moment presents itself, to be bold enough to speak your truth when the opportunity arises, to be willing to let your testimony become someone else's breakthrough. Attacks on you will intensify briefly before stopping completely, because the enemy knows that a testified to breakthrough is more dangerous than a silent one. A hidden victory doesn't threaten the kingdom of darkness, but a broadcasted triumph that dismantles entire systems of oppression, that gives language to people who couldn't articulate battles, that provides strategy to people who didn't know how to fight back. Your willingness to speak about what you've overcome makes you a target and a weapon simultaneously. The same story that makes hell nervous makes heaven rejoice. The same testimony that triggers your enemies empowers your allies. The same narrative that exposes darkness illuminates light. You get to choose which effect you want to amplify. How much longer will God allow lies and deceit to cloud the truth of who you are? The answer echoes back from where we started. Not one moment more. The reckoning that was approaching has arrived. The justice that was coming is here. The vindication that was promised is manifesting. You've faced betrayal and endured false accusations. You've weathered attacks designed to crush your spirit. While others wove webs of lies, hoping to see you fall, you remained unshaken. You waited for the moment when deceit would collapse under the weight of your truth. That moment is now. Lies are not just crumbling. Lies have crumbled. Your truth is not just emerging. Your truth has emerged, stronger than ever. You are the one others fear, the one whose strength generates envy. Every lie told was an attempt to bury you under the weight of inadequacies belonging to others. But you rose anyway. The venom spit in your direction was deliberate and calculated. Your power was seen before you even recognized it. You are the chosen one. Your greatness was sensed long before you had the chance to claim it. Words were daggers meant to cut deep, to poison your soul with doubt. But here's where failure happened. The force that drives you was underestimated. Now you stand in your full power, untouched by attempts, unshaken by attacks, undimmed by envy, rising into spaces never imagined you'd reach, walking in rooms that will never be entered by those who opposed you, operating at frequencies that can't be accessed, living at levels that can't be comprehended. Your resilience has been your shield, your strength unwavering in the face of attempts to destroy you, and now divine justice has completed its work. You are vindicated, not by your defense, by your results, not by your words, by your life, not by acknowledgement from others, by heaven's confirmation. Welcome back to yourself, chosen one. Welcome back to your power. Welcome back to your peace. Welcome back to your purpose. Attempts were made to take it all, but you can't steal what's divinely assigned. You can't destroy what's eternally protected. You can't defeat what's cosmically chosen. Now it's time to walk fully into what's yours. No more shrinking. No more dimming your light. No more making yourself small to make others comfortable. No more apologizing for the gifts you carry. No more hiding the power you possess. The season of playing small is over. The era of staying silent is finished. Your time to rise in full force has arrived. Everything others tried to take from you is being restored double. Every relationship poisoned is being replaced with something authentic. Every opportunity blocked is being superseded by something better. Every door closed is being answered with multiple new ones opening. This is the season of overflow, of abundance, of exceeding expectations, of surpassing limitations. You're not who others said you were. You're not defined by lies. You're not limited by slander. You're not destroyed by betrayal. You are chosen. You are protected. You are favored. You are anointed. You are unstoppable. You are exactly who heaven says you are, and heaven's opinion is the only one that matters. Here's what you need to understand about divine restoration. It doesn't just give back what was taken. It multiplies it. It doesn't just heal what was broken. It makes it stronger than before. It doesn't just replace what was lost. It upgrades it. You're not going back to where you were before the attack. You're going forward to where you were always meant to be. The relationships being added to your life now carry a different weight than the ones removed. The opportunities presenting themselves now hold greater potential than the ones blocked. The doors opening now lead to rooms you didn't even know existed. This isn't just restoration. This is elevation disguised as restoration. Your enemies are about to witness something that will haunt them forever. You winning without them. You succeeding despite them. You thriving in their absence. You celebrating victories to which no access exists for those who opposed you. You building an empire that can't be entered. You creating a legacy that can't be touched. And the most painful part will be knowing a chance existed to be part of your story, and the choice was made to be villains instead. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something, but talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity, and repurposing it to serve divine justice. You put on the headphones, press play and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. There's a particular kind of regret that comes from attacking someone who was only ever good to you. A specific type of torment that comes from destroying a relationship that was genuine. A unique form of suffering that comes from realizing your own blessing was sabotaged because envy couldn't be controlled. All of that is about to be experienced in full measure. You need to prepare yourself for attempts at reconciliation. Some will try to come back. Not because change happened, but because winning is being witnessed and access is wanted again. Not because sorrow exists, but because opportunism drives behavior. Not because love exists, but because need exists. You need to have your boundaries fortified and your discernment activated for this season. Not everyone who apologizes deserves access. Not everyone who admits being wrong has actually changed. Not everyone who wants back in your life has earned that privilege. Some bridges are meant to stay burned. Some doors are meant to stay closed. Some relationships are meant to stay in the past. You don't owe anyone a second chance to hurt you just because consequences are being experienced for hurting you the first time. Divine wisdom will show you who's genuinely transformed and who's just temporarily uncomfortable. Trust that discernment. Honor those boundaries. Protect that peace you fought so hard to build. Your elevation isn't an invitation for others to elevate with you. Your success isn't a signal that all is forgiven and forgotten. Your breakthrough doesn't erase betrayal. Walk forward now with your head held high, with your shoulders back, with your eyes focused on your destiny. Let observation happen. Let wondering happen. Let wrestling happen with how everything predicted failed to manifest. Let questioning happen about how you're standing where you're standing. Let struggling continue to reconcile lies told with truth everyone can now see. You don't owe explanations. You don't owe confrontations. You don't owe closure. You owe yourself peace. You owe yourself joy. You owe yourself the full expression of everything you were created to be. And that's exactly what you're about to walk into. Rise now. Shine now. Thrive now. Your season of vindication is here. Your time of elevation has come. Your moment of manifestation has arrived. Everything others tried to kill in you is about to explode into existence. Everything they tried to silence in you is about to be amplified. Everything they tried to steal from you is about to be restored with interest. God saw it all, and God is settling all accounts. The cosmic calculator has been running this entire time, tracking every offense, recording every injustice, noting every tear. The balance sheet is complete, the audit is finished, the verdict is in, and payment is being collected as we speak. The reckoning is complete, the lies have been exposed, the slander has been silenced, divine justice stands victorious, and you, chosen one, are free. Free from narratives that weren't yours, free from limitations that didn't belong, free from attacks that couldn't destroy, free to be everything you were always meant to be. This is your time. This is your season. This is your moment. Step into it with the full force of who you are, the chosen one, the overcomer, the victor, the one who stood when everything said fall, the one who rose when everything said stay down, the one who won when everyone said you'd lose. You are that one, and your story is just beginning.